Welcome to OtakusandGeeks.com review of F, A Tale of Memories. Let's talk a little bit about the stories and characters, but as usual, you guys already know how we do here. Here's a brief synopsis of the show. On Christmas Eve, Hiro helps Miyako, the victim of a purse snatching, and discovers that she goes to the same school he does. To the dismay of his childhood friend Kei, Hiro starts hanging out with Miyako. But Kei is not about to let a new girl in Hiro's life take him away from her, and sets out to prove that she's the only one for him. Meanwhile, when Renji meets Chihiro at an abandoned train station, he doesn't notice anything unusual at first. But he soon discovers that she suffers from a rare form of amnesia and can only remember things for 13 hours. Chihiro dreams of writing a novel, but her amnesia hasn't made it an impossible task. Now, however, Renji is determined to help her fulfill her dream. Awesome. That's all I have to say. This anime, before I even talk about the stories and the wonderful story and the wonderful characters, let me just say this, and I want the otakus out there who have not seen the show yet to really listen to this. This show is just more proof why anime is such an underrated art form, why anime should be taken a little bit more serious with the film media. This anime was completely brilliant. And as I just stated here with the synopsis, the story, you're going to be following basically it centers around two main stories here. You have the story of Hiro and Miyako and Kei and their love triangle, and then you have the story which I thought was just more character driven, just more interesting to watch, was the Renji and Chihiro, and that was awesome. That story, Renji and Chihiro, was the highlight for me because just the whole concept of this. You're dating this girl, you really like this girl, and you have to constantly remind her who you are every day. She only remembers things for 13-hour span. Now, how she able to keep her memories, that she keeps this little diary that she writes every day, and every day she has to, before she goes to sleep, she reads it. That way she remembers in the morning of what happened yesterday and who did she meet and how was the interaction with it. So it's actually a really good concept story here, and it's actually it gets deeper. There's characters in here which I'm not going to spoil, but there's a lot of symbolism in this. You have a symbolism of faith. There's one character which I still believe represents like a higher power, because she's seen by the characters when they're at the lowest, and she's always there to just teach them a lesson and keep them going. And because there's going to be times when the characters really at their darkest moments and they're really giving up, and then this particular character comes there and she's just like this voice of hope and voice of reason. And then you actually get a little bit, it does get a little preachy towards the end, but I would say the highlight is episode 10. And what happens there is that everything comes together. All the drama, all the heartbreaking, all the emotion ends up with this one scene with Hiro, and he finally learns what he has to learn thanks to this symbolism character. And you're gonna be like, wow. And it's just, the story is just awesome. The characters are just awesome to watch. Hiro's he's a manga artist, and he's a manga artist that goes to school as well. So he's trying to balance in that life of going to school and being a manga artist. And also he has this girl Kei, who is his childhood friend, who's actually in love with him. But this is the typical cliche part of the anime. You got the childhood friend that's in love with her childhood friend, and she can't confess it to him. There's always another girl there. But the way this one ends is not what you think it's going to end up with, and that's what I really liked about it. I'm not going to say who he goes with, but I just got to say it's not the way you think it's going to end. And I thought that was just a really bold move for them to do. And back to Renji's character, he's just like this bookworm, and he meets Chihiro at the train station, and they just start this friendship. But watching him, you can see his frustration. You start to feel his frustration too, as he starts to question, why am I wasting my time? This girl cannot remember anything beyond 13 days. And it's just a real test of love here. It's a nice, heartwarming, but also bittersweet for certain characters. Anime, and there's a great supporting cast, which I won't really get into because I'm on time limit here. But it's a great supporting cast. The characters are really fleshed out. Everybody is has this lesson they learn. Everybody changes through the course of this 12 episode series right here, and it's just fleshed out very well. The characters from the beginning are not going to be the characters from the end. They change, and that's what I really enjoyed the most, is the transition and the hardships and the lessons and the themes and the symbolism was all there, and it was all on point. So I thought that was a really, really great job on the story. So let's talk a little bit about the voice acting. The voice acting, I actually did enjoy. I felt the performances on this one. We had Greg Ayres, who plays Hiro, and he did a great job as this manga artist struggling the balance between what he really wants to do and trying to find himself. And he just brought a nice, surreal performance to it. And we have, of course, Monica, who plays Chihiro, and Monica Riles, she plays Chihiro, and she actually did good. I liked her. I like Monica's voice, soft, sweet, innocent. But man, when Chihiro got emotional, you feel it from Monica's voice, and you feel that you're like, man, I really feel sorry for this girl. Like, if I don't think if Monica didn't really go all out like she did, you wouldn't really care too much about Chihiro's condition, and you do in this one. You really do. We have Brittany Korobowski. She plays Kay, and I love Kay. I love Kay. Actually, Kay is actually my favorite character. She's like this tough athlete chick, and Brittany does so well as playing that naggy best friend and childhood friend who just wants the best for Hiro. And finally, we have Clint Beckham, who plays Renji, and I really like that sensitive, emotional, but reserved type of voice for Renji. I thought for the most part, the English voice actors were really good. They did great, and of course, Chris Patton's in there too. But I mean, Chris Patton's always. It's Chris Patton. What more can I say about Chris Patton? But like I said, the voice acting I did enjoy. I really did enjoy. I thought the voice actors made the anime even worth watching more, especially during the very emotional scenes when these guys really went all out and just poured their emotion into the character's voice. I thought it was really, really good. So let's talk a little bit about music and animation. Music and animation. I totally enjoyed the music and animation in this. It's composed by Tamon, and for those who are not familiar with Tamon's work, Tamon's composed for 5 centimeters per second, Voices of a Distant Star, The Place Promised in Our Early Days, and various other animes. And if you're familiar with the work, then you know that you're going to get heavy use of piano and violins. And for this anime, the piano works wonderful because it sounds so poetic, especially when you're watching a scene, and a heartbreaking scene, and then you hear the sad piano music or this uplifting piano music too as well, and then the strings come into play. You really feel that emotion, and it just makes the anime just even much more epic and much more able to watch. And that's what I really did enjoy. The composition was so poetic, and it's soft but gentle, dark and sad, but at the same time gave you a little hope. And the OST alone is a story in itself. And even if you're not paying too heavily on the scene, just listen to the music. You can get something from it. And I thought that was just a really great job to do. And as far as the animation is, I love the animation. A little mix of CGI backgrounds from time to time, but it's poetically beautiful. The environments are great, especially when it comes to like a dreamlike sequence, the use of color. There's this one scene where the nighttime scenes are always a great lighting. The lighting on the characters, it's like a little painting, but an updated modern day painting coming to life. And the way they use the color blue was really great. The water, the details, the facial expressions, the anime is actually top notch. I definitely love the animation of this. So it was just really great. Final grade. The final grade, F Tales of Memory is getting a well-deserved A+. This anime was beautiful to watch. The themes, the symbolism, the ending. It wasn't too cliche for the most part. You feel for the characters. You enjoy the characters. You're rooting for the characters. You can relate to the characters. The story's not confusing at all. And it's just, like I said, minus a few cliche parts, it is just well thought out. I thought the voice acting was great. I thought everything came together at the end, and it just makes you. You will rewatch this and you will catch more themes that you didn't spot before. You will rewatch this and you just see something that you didn't see before. The characters are very entertaining. The drama was great. It does get a little melodramatic. I'll give it that. It does get into the melodramatic stage, but it's good melodramatic. It's not bad melodramatic. And like I said, the voice acting is great. The music is beautiful. Animation is beautiful. This is a must-watch anime, otakus out there. Check it out. F Tales and Memories. Otakusandgeeks.com. This is Justin saying it gets an A+. Later days.